Hey everyone, it's Craig from Summit Racing, and in this video we're going to show you how to choose the right race suit for your needs. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe to our page and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our latest videos. Now let's talk race suits. Protection from impacts, heat, cuts, chemicals, and more. A good racing suit has to endure a lot. And that's why many, if not all, racing series have very strict guidelines on the type of racing suit it requires to compete. But as you'd imagine, there's still a ton of variables to consider when selecting the right race suit. So we created this quick introductory video to give you an idea of how to choose the best racing suit for your needs. Let's start with safety ratings. Most race sanctioning bodies have strict guidelines. Let's see what a recent NHRA rulebook for the top dragster class says about its racing suit safety requirements. There it is, spelled out. To race in this class, you'll need a racing jacket and pants, or a complete one-piece racing suit. That means SFI Spec 3.2A/15. But what does that mean exactly? For starters, understand you'll probably either have to meet SFI or FIA standards. The main distinction between those two is that SFI is typically used in race series based in the United States, while international race series tend to use FIA ratings. Regardless, you'll want to ensure the suit you buy carries the requisite safety rating. In this case, a race suit meets SFI 3.2A, which refers directly to the suit's fire-retardant capabilities. Obviously, a suit's ability to protect a driver from flames and heat is a really big deal. So let's spend some time specifically on thermal protection performance. Often abbreviated as TPP, thermal protection performance is a figure that refers to a suit or gloves or pants or shoes' ability to withstand both heat and flame. Through a series of tests and calculations, a garment is assigned a TPP value. That number directly reflects the amount of time, measured in seconds, that it would take for the wearer to receive a second-degree burn when exposed to heat and flame. The folks over at Summit Racing's blog, On All Cylinders, created a handy chart that breaks down the numbers. We'll include a link to it below in the video description. The chart shows different SFI ratings and the amount of thermal protection needed for certain race classes. Most require 3.2A/5. But the standards increase with the high-performance racing, specifically racing that uses more combustible fuels. There are a lot of specs and standards out there, but the best way to find out exactly what requirements your racing suit needs to meet is either to consult with your sanctioning body's rulebook or speak directly to a safety official from the race sanctioning body. Obviously, a suit's safety rating often dictates its construction and its materials. The most common types of materials used in race suit construction are either treated cotton fabrics and Nomex. Typically, suits made from treated cotton are a bit more affordable than Nomex suits. The drawback here is that these cotton suits will slowly lose their flame retardant effectiveness with each cleaning. Not a big deal for the casual racer, but if you're logging a lot of time in a race car cockpit, that could be an important factor to consider. The beauty of Nomex is that it's inherently flame retardant, so you can't wash out its effectiveness. It won't sustain combustion or melt when it's exposed to flame. In fact, Nomex actually becomes thicker and more protective when exposed to intense heat. That's why you will likely see all the top-tier race teams wearing Nomex race suits. Nomex typically provides the best fire and heat protection and carries the highest SFI ratings. But there are other suit materials out there too, like gabardine, proben, and cordura, and not all of them are flame retardant. Take cordura for instance. Suits made from cordura are typically spec'd for things like karting, where abrasion resistance can be more important than flame resistance. But since they're not flame retardant, they won't be anywhere close to acceptable for something like NHRA level drag racing. So again, the best move is to determine exactly what specs your racing class requires and then find a suit that meets those standards. If you saw our companion video on how to choose the right racing helmet, then you probably know what we're going to say here. Proper sizing is vital. Obviously, you want your suit to fit comfortably, but a good fit is also critical to a suit's safety performance. You also don't want to snag a switch or a lever on a loose sleeve cuff or have a tight suit restrict your ability to grab a shifter or, more importantly, a fire suppression system. A good fit also means your other safety equipment, namely your safety harness, can do its job better. After all, you don't want to be sliding around in a loose suit. It'll irritate your skin and compromise your restraint system. Ideally, you'll want a layer of air between you and your suit to act as an insulator against heat and conversely to let your body cool itself more effectively, which is really nice when you're waiting in the staging lanes on a 90-degree day. Again, the On All Cylinders folks have a handy chart that will help you determine some baseline sizing. We'll toss another link for that one in the description below too. During your research, you'll likely find suits with single or multiple layers of fabric. As a general rule, more layers equal more protection, both in terms of abrasion and heat resistance. That means as long as you're matching your racing class SFI requirements, that decision between a single or a multi-layer suit may already be made for you. After all, stricter standards mean more protection, which ultimately determines the number of layers a suit needs. If you do have an option, remember this trade-off. Multi-layer suits offer more protection, but can be bulky and restrictive and won't breathe as easily to dissipate normal pin-up heat. If you recall from our NHRA rulebook, the particular class accepted either a single race suit or a two-piece pants and jacket combo. Some classes stipulate a full suit, but if you have the option in your class, you'll have to decide on which one to pick. First of all, since there's an inherent physical gap between a jacket and pants, a one-piece suit offers more protection. But there are plenty of jacket and pants combos that meet SFI 3.2A/5 specs. So it's not uncommon to see them in drag racing events. That's probably because drag racers are in their cars far less than, say, a NASCAR driver. So being able to peel off a jacket in the summer heat while outside the car is pretty handy. We've seen racers wear compression-style athletic clothing like you'd see a basketball player wear under their race suits. That's a big no-no. Why? Because it melts. Anything with polyester, nylon, or elastic can melt when it's ignited, and that's no good. In intense heat, it'll stick to the skin, and you can only imagine how painful that can be. Which is why safety apparel companies make Nomex undergarments. They actually offer another layer of fire protection. And that's especially vital if you've opted for a single layer suit to begin with. If you remember one thing from this video, it's to choose a suit first and foremost based on the safety requirements spelled out by your race sanctioning body's rulebook. We've said this before in other safety videos, but it's worth repeating. Race sanctioning organizations aren't vague. They'll tell you exactly what safety requirements your gear, equipment, and race car have to meet. And if you have specific questions, they'll be quick to provide a precise answer. If you need more guidance, just give us a call. We've got a team of tech folks ready to help, and a lot of them have logged plenty of time in race cars. We'll be happy to help guide you in the right direction.